Greetings everyone once again. I am Jen Koziak and I am one of your course instructor, and welcome again to the College Readiness Math MOOC. Here we're going to look at the components in each of the 10 modules. We're going to look at Module 1, Fractions, Ratios, and Percents, to look at the different components that you'll have access to during this course. One thing you'll notice is that in order to access this, I already went through the introduction and completed the mandatory pretest. As I scroll back up, you're going to notice that there are going to be similar components for each of the 10 modules. The first one is going to be kind of an introduction to the module, and we're going to call this a minute of math. It is going to give us a brief snippet of what the entire module is about. From there, we're going to have subtopics. In this case, our module 1 is about fractions, ratios, and percents. You'll also have a link to the WebWork homework site, and this is the online homework for each one of the modules. Finally, you're going to have access to the quiz, in this case the quiz for Module 1. And remember, in order to access the next module, or Module 2, you have to complete that quiz with at least a 50%, and you can have as many attempts as you would like at that quiz. So let's dive right into the module, and we'll look at it from several different directions. If I just hit the introduction to Module 1, it's going to take me to what we call or refer to as a minute of math video. This video is going to give me just a very brief introduction to what I'm going to be learning in Module 1. If I hit play,
fractions, ratios, and percents,
you're going to find that I'm going to come up with a video, and as I listen through the video or scroll through the video, somewhere during that video a question will be asked on the question tab. I am allowed to submit an answer if I would like, and then to hear the answer by hitting the conclusion tab.
Were you able to figure it out?
Again, this is going to provide you with a brief introduction to what the module is all about. Let's go back to our course home and look at the other components as well. Again, you're going to notice that there's subtopics. So if I select on fractions, each subtopic is going to have what we call a mini lecture. And there's two ways to look at the mini lecture. If I hit the lecture tab, it's going to be again a podcast going through the highlights of that subtopic fractions.
We will be looking at fractions.
Again, I can scroll through and listen to portions of that mini lecture. Another way to investigate it is to go to the notes, which is just going to be a slideshow that's going to walk me through the same thing as the mini lecture. Other things that I might notice is no matter what page I'm at, the minute of math or on the fractions mini lecture, I can scroll down and I'm going to see what we call the learning objects that are associated with each one of those mini lectures. So let's look at learning objects. If I hit fraction operations, what it's going to take me to is just what we call those learning objects, or LO. It's going to be a problem with an answer, some other tabs, and we'll learn more about these in the Exploring the Learning Objects tutorial, but it will also include one of those podcasts or chalk talks walking you through the solution of that problem. Again, I'm going to go back to the course home to get me back to the main module. Now that we've looked at the components, again, I could click on WebWork, and it's going to ask me to use my username and password where I signed up under the introduction in order to complete the online homework. And once I'm ready, I can take the quiz for Module 1. Other ways to view the modules is to just go to the Welcome to Module 1, Fractions, Ratios, and Percents. When I click that tab, I'm going to be given all the components from the minute of math, and notice it's checked because I've already looked at it. I've looked at 3 of those topics, and it's going to give me each of the learning objects that are associated with each of the subtopics, including those mini lectures. Another way I can look at Module 1 is I can go over to this home and select Module 1, Fractions, Ratios, and Percents, and it's going to give me to each one of those folders. Finally, I could go under the Content tab, and I will see under this format that I again have my mini lectures, and then each one of these will link out to separate learning objects. And then finally, as I go through those learning objects, I can complete my WebWork homework, and I can take my quiz for Module 1, which again I need to pass at a 50% with unlimited attempts in order to give me access to Module 2.